Hey guys, welcome to your daily devotional. For me, as I've been at home on my off days from work, a lot of what I've been doing is studying. I've been studying, and I have like all these like binders and notebooks and textbooks that I've been reading through, probably about 3,000 pages worth. That kind of sums up the last 2 years of my paramedic stuff I've been working on for exam at work, and it's a lot of stuff. A lot of it's repetitive stuff, and I'm finding that it's easy to get kind of overwhelmed and confused and just like perplexed by how much writing is going into all of this stuff, right? But I realized that ultimately there are just maybe two themes that I can kind of boil it all down to that helps me kind of put it all into perspective. First one being all these rules, these regulations, these procedures are designed to keep me and my team safe, right? And so knowing that, it helps me to keep a bigger perspective on, as long as I follow these things, even if they are repetitive, and they're designed to keep me safe, right? The second being, these things are designed to keep my patients safe, or people that I encounter safe. It's all for their good. So even if it's repetitive, even if it's very basic sometimes, these are for the good of the people that I'm treating. And so when I kind of remember those two things, is to keep me safe, is to keep my patients safe, it helps me to put it into perspective and kind of push on through all the drudgery of reading all this stuff, right? And so that brings me to today's teaching from Matthew 22. From Matthew 22, I'll read verses 34 through 40, and I think you'll see what I mean. It says this: Hearing that Jesus had silenced the Sadducees, the Pharisees got together. One of them, an expert in the law, tested him with this question: Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law? Jesus replied, Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments. Jesus is talking to these Pharisees, these experts of the law, the teachers of the law, and one of them stands up to test him. He said, what's the most important thing to remember? And Jesus essentially sums up all of their education. The books of Exodus and Leviticus are good examples of a lot of the laws that we find in the Old Testament. And Jesus says, you know what? That all comes down to love God and then love people. I think that gives us a good perspective for how we ought to live our lives as believers, especially as young, maturing believers. If we get too caught up in social media posts and outside voices, we see that there's a lot of division and a lot of confusion, even within the church. There's a lot of opposing voices, and it's easy to see the other side or see the other denominations or other people and see what they're believing and what they're doing and saying, man, this is really confusing why you're doing these things. We hear about churches in other states that are still holding services despite the stay-at-home commandments and stuff, commands, and it's easier to see that and kind of judge them. And I think it comes back down to this for me a lot of times when I get confused in my own faith and find myself getting annoyed or frustrated or angry. Jesus reminds us there's two things to remember: love God, love people. If the things that you're doing, the actions that you're taking are pushing you to love God and to love people more, then you're doing the right thing. And if they aren't, then it's time to sit back and consider what you're doing, because it might not be the right course of action. So simple teaching today, but it's a good one. It's one to remember. And hopefully you guys are following along with us. As always, read the entire chapter, see what else the Lord has to reveal to us. Other than that, I hope you guys are safe at home, enjoying your time off and going closer to the Lord. I love you guys. I miss you guys so much. I'll see you guys soon on the Zoom or whatnot. See ya.